Okay, so welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a recap of Insatiable, Season 1, Episode 11, Winners Win, period. What the hell is going on with these people? Okay, so I think that it's been like a week since the whole outing. Bob Armstrong has moved in with Barnard. Etta May has been obviously told, and she agreed to the divorce. Okay. Even though we haven't seen her. We haven't seen any, after something that's devastating, we haven't seen any interaction between her and her daughter. And, okay. So Brick picks Magnolia up from the rehab center. And so they're talking about it. And he asked her, you know, well, how did you feel when you first found out? And she was like, well, I was very upset. But then I almost, you know, kind of felt bad that he had allowed all that she is to do it after that. Brick is not feeling this shit at all. He was just like, I just can't get over it. You know, can you just imagine your dad on top of my dad and my dad on top of your dad? And she was like, you know what, I should have just took an Uber. Because the conversation getting a little too real for her. So they're on their way to Barnard's house because they made plans to sit down and have dinner. So they get there, and Magnolia is very accepting, and she gave her dad a hug, and it was a whole thing. And Bob Armstrong is being his normal, weird, nervous self, and he's like, well, I made your favorite pork chops. He's like, I haven't eaten pork chops since my friend so-and-so got a pig last year. And Barnard said he would offer to make something else, and Brick was like, you know, I'm never really that hungry anyway. So Armstrong was like, well, you know, Brick, I'm trying, you know, I'm nervous, I don't really know how to act around you guys. And he said, Barb Armstrong, and Brick was like, you know, I can get past the gayness. I mean, Dad, he's like, damn, you were just into high heels and makeup and, you know, dresses and that kind of stuff. So, hell, you being gay is not a big, oh my God, at least, you know, not to me. The issue that I have is that the two of you just tore apart two families and you don't seem to care. And Barnard said something to him, and Brick looked at him and said, I don't think I was talking to you. And so he kind of looked at him, and Brick was just basically like, you know, I can't do this, I'm out of here. And so he walked out, and Armstrong was trying to catch him and walk out with him. And Barnard was like, well, you know, you tried, and, you know, there's not a whole lot. And I'm like, bitch, that's just like, you're dealing with Tina. Barnard really gets on my damn nerves. It's like, well, you tried, so, I mean, that's his son. His teenage son trying to deal with the fact that his family has fallen apart. His mother's at home devastated, and his father's now shacked up with another dude. Like, come on now, that's a lot. And so it's like Barnard just an asshole. So Armstrong went over to his house. He found the hiding key and went in, and he scared the crap out of Coralee. Coralee said, what the hell are you doing here? I changed the locks. He's like, oh, I found the key to that. And so she basically told him she was filing for divorce. And he was like, well, wait a minute, what? I don't want a divorce. And it's like, Armstrong is just really, he's delusional as well. She was like, well, what did you think was going to happen? That you would just be gay and then we would stay married? And he's like, no. He said, she felt like their whole marriage was a lie. And he's like, no, you know, I loved you. I've always loved you. You've always been the sexiest woman that I know. And it's just this other part of me. And basically, she was like, you know what? You just go be sexually confused in somebody else's kitchen. And she's like, just leave the key on the counter. And she went out and turned the light off. And basically, he stood there. Like, what did you think that this was like? I don't know what. It's like, both these guys are crazy. So Patty is still at her house. She's locked herself in the house. It's like been a week. Like I think I said earlier, it's been like a week. So she's locked herself in the house. She's all around her is just empty wrappers and boxes, and so she's just been gorging herself over this last week. And for some reason, her finding out, she gets a text or some kind of notification that lets her know that Drew Barrymore is coming to town. And she has this thing with Drew Barrymore. Whatever. And so she got excited and thought, okay, you know what? Drew Barrymore would never do this. She would never sit down and pick out or whatever. She would stand up and fight and this whole thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, girl. So she now feels like she has to make amends to the people she's wronged. And of course she's like, I can't start with Barb because he's more upset with me. So she wants to talk, she wants to try to get back in good with Nonnie. And she had to track her down. So Nonnie's at the Wiener Taco with Choi. And so Patty shows up and Christian comes out of nowhere. And he tries to hand her a gift, and she's like, well, what are you doing here? Like, she didn't really, because her and Nonnie hadn't talked. She had to actually go through some people to find out where Nonnie actually was. And so she was like, well, how did you even know that I would be here? And are you following me? Are you stalking me? And he tried to give her a gift, birthday gift. She's like, I don't want that. I don't want anything from you. And so she walked in. And through the conversation, you can tell that Choi set the whole thing up. But he was like, I just don't think it's right that you guys are friends. And so she said, I have a surprise for you. Drew Barrymore's coming to town, and I got us tickets to her to the show or the meet and greet or whatever this is. And Nonnie was like, you don't get it, do you? I told you that I needed a break. I decide when that break is over, not you. And besides, I don't even like Drew Barrymore. I like Charlize Theron. So she got up and walked out. So Nonnie ain't, she ain't paying Patty no never mind. And so back over at Barnard's, no, actually, yeah, what happened? I don't know. Back over at Barnard's, no. And so after Nonnie walks out, she looks over and she sees Coralee. Coralee is picking up her order, and it's like enough people. She didn't order enough food to feed an army. And so the lady's kind of looking at her. The lady behind the counter was a bitch. She's like reading off her whole order, like, you got 3 this and 4 that, and you got the large this and this. And Coralee's looking at her like, well, it's not all for me. And then Patty walks over and she's trying to be very apologetic, and for whatever reason, Coralee sits down and has a conversation, talks to her, and she's like, I'm very sorry for what happened, and she's like, I just need, basically and so she started pulling food out let me start this over. So Nonnie walks out, and Patty sees Coralee. Coralee's at the counter picking up her order, and she didn't order enough food to feed the army. So the lady behind the counter is looking at her, giving her the side eye, like, bitch, why you got all this food? And so Coralee was like, well, it's not all for me. And Patty walks up, and she's like, yeah, here's my friend here. And so she pulls her to the side. They go sit down, and she starts pulling the stuff out of the bag. It's like, you want to help me? You can help me eat up some of this food. And so Patty was like, I'm really sorry. She's very apologetic. And for whatever reason, Coralee is like, well, I don't blame you. I think you outing him Bob was the best thing to happen. I need to focus more on me. And it was like, this is not the normal reaction. I just can't imagine anybody being that calm, especially across from the person that did this to you and humiliated your son in front of the whole half the damn town. Like, oh, okay. So she started talking to her, and Patty was like, I just feel, I just never felt beautiful. I just want to feel beautiful once. And she's talking about the pageant and how, she's been sitting around for the last week just gorging herself, and, she would have to lose 10 pounds in a week, and how she just all she ever wanted was to feel beautiful. And Coralee was like, you are beautiful, and if you need to lose weight, I know an expert. And so she hooks her with Brick. So Brick is there helping Patty train so she can get these few pounds off so that she can compete in this pageant. I'm just like, are these okay? So back over at Barnard's, Magnolia comes down. Bob never went back because he just was out looking for Brick, and I guess he just decided to drive around or wherever he went for the night. And so Magnolia woke up sometime during the night and was like, she couldn't sleep. She's having trouble sleeping, and she asked her why, and she was like, she was thinking about Roxy. Like, it would be good to have a sister, and basically, she wants to reach out to her and establish some kind of connection. And Barnard was and she was like, why are you up? And he's like, his Bob didn't come home, and I don't really, you know, I'm just, he was just up like trying to figure out what was going on with Bob Armstrong. And so Bob Armstrong walks in. He said, "Where have you been? You know, I thought you could have been dead in the ditch somewhere or something." He was like, Coralee wants a divorce. And he said, and so of course Bob Barnard was like, okay. And he's like, well, I don't know if that's what I want. And so of course Barnard's like, well, what do you mean? Like, you know, I'm getting a divorce. What did you like? Again, he's kind of confused. Like, what did you think was going to happen? That you would be gay and say married? Like, what? Like, I'm just confuzzled. Like, what is going on? And so, we go to Brick is trained to Patty. He done wrapped her in some damn plastic or something. So he's trying to get her to sweat the weight, through dieting and sweating. She's going to drop these 10 pounds. And so they're out running. And she was like, wait a minute, is that Christian? So Christian is in his car, like, watching her, like, really stalking her. And Brick confronts him and basically threatens him. So Christian basically gets in the car and he drives off. And Brick basically tell Patty, you know, your mom's out of town, so if anything goes down, just call me. And I'm just like, this bitch just causes confusion and chaos wherever she goes. Why? It's like, girl. And I'm hoping nothing happened, that Christian doesn't do anything to Brick, because it's gonna be like, it's like, should you just leave a bunch of bullshit in your wake? Like, for real. Magnolia and Barnard, they sit down with Roxy, and he was basically being honest with her about what happened and why, you know, why he wasn't in her life all those years. And she basically just pissed off. Like, I don't have a family. I went from foster home to foster home, and let this time that you contacted me be the last time. And she just stormed out. And so Bob Armstrong, he's sitting in at Bob Barnard's house and was going flipping through the photo albums, looking at his wedding pictures. And he was getting emotional. So Barnard walks in and he told him about the meeting with Roxy and how it didn't go well. And he saw him looking at the photos. He's like, if you want to go back, then go back. And Bob Armstrong was just basically, you know, I guess, like you said, I have to move forward, and that part of my life is over, so on and so forth. And so they were both kind of feeling down, and Bob Barnard's idea of perking them up, he takes Bob Armstrong to I guess a gay club, and Bob Armstrong is sitting up there in his button-up shirt, collared shirt with this little pullover sweater over it, looking like, you know, Mr. Poindexter. He's out there with all these guys who's half naked in leather and get whips and stuff, and Bob Barnard is in his element because he stayed with his shirt off, so he's out there with his shirt off and he just getting down, right? And so they kind of, next thing you know, you see them walking into the house, and he's mad, and Bob Armstrong is upset. He was like, you know, I told you that's not really my thing. And Bob Barnard was like, just, you know, we'll find something that we can both do together. That doesn't involve go-go boys. And so they hear a noise, and it was Roxy. Roxy came by his house, and she was like, you know, Stella Rose admitted to me that you had paid her off all those years. So if you were giving her money, why did she give me up for adoption? And she had the money to raise me. So basically now she's like, she's just a bitch. She just didn't want the responsibility. She took the money and did what she wanted to do with the money. And so now she now needs a coach for the show. And so Bob Armstrong, obviously because he's not coaching Patty anymore, it's like, said, well, we can do it. And so now they're all set to coach Roxy for the show. And so she's staying with Bob Barnard. Patty, she arrives home, and she sees that Christian has been in her house. He left the box, that gift that he was trying to give her, he left it on her bed. So of course she felt like now she can't stay there. So she went to the Armstrong house, and Brick was fixing up his bed so she could sleep there. And I'm just still trying to figure out why these people are so nice to her. They setting her ass up. I'm just like, and this whole thing of Roxy coming to Bob Barnard and all this, I'm just not trusting this whole situation, but whatever. So her and Brick are talking, and he ends up, she wanted him to stay with her for that night, to sleep in bed, just to sleep that night. Thank God it wasn't anything like that. And she asked him if he wanted to go with her to the Drew Barrymore meet and greet or whatever that was, and he was like, okay. And so the next day, she was like, okay, so it seems like Brick is okay and Coralee is okay, but I still have one Armstrong that I need to make things up to. And so she goes to Bob Armstrong's office the following morning, and he looked at her like, why are you here? And she was like, I'm just, I know I'm probably the last person you want to see, and I'm sorry. And he's like, sorry for what? For blowing up my life, for destroying my marriage, for basically taking away my right to come to terms with who I am, and deciding when I decided to reveal that to the world. So what exactly are you sorry for? And he's like, you know what, I have but what do you say? I have another person that I'm coaching that's going to be better, that's going to be a better contestant, or something he said to her. He said that just to cut her to the bone. And she's like, who's like Roxy? And you can see the tears in her eyes, just, oh, well, he opened the door and just like, bitch, get out of my office. And she walked out, and like, I can't, like, she was like, I don't know what she expected. Like, she would go and apologize like before when she did dumb shit, and he eventually would come around. It's like, not this time. So she walks out, and next thing you know, you see him, he goes home, and Bob Barnard is talking to Roxy, and they're coming up with her platform or whatever. And they're talking to Armstrong, and he's like, what is going on with you? He said, Patty came by the office. He's like, oh, how did that go? He's like, not well. He's like, I told her, I said some things to her that I knew would hurt her. And Barnard was like, right, like that bitch deserved it. And he was like, well, no. Bob Armstrong was like, well, no, don't that just make me just as bad as her? And Bob Barnard don't give less than a shit about Patty. Like, no. And so they're like, are you thinking about making up with her or something? And he didn't say, I think he didn't really say anything. You know that Bob Barnard is like a marshmallow. He just has something about Patty. But so Patty goes back now. After Kristen got into the house, I think she's staying in. Actually, I'm not sure. Oh, she's staying with Coralee and Brick. And so she gets to the house. Regina is sitting up at their dining room table. She's like, how the hell did you get here? What are you doing here? Oh, I just have my business plan for the Tampazzle, Coralee's little whatever she's trying to come up with. And I think I have all the business contacts and blah, 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 and on and on and on. And Pat's like, what the hell makes you think that she would ever go into business with you? And so she was trying to, and so Regina was like, oh, don't get all high and mighty with me after everything that you've done. Yeah, you've done a lot of shit too to get ahead. So don't be throwing your nose up at me. And she's like, and besides, it's something I learned a long time ago. Winners win, period. And she said, so it's not about, so basically she don't get into all that morality or whatever it takes for her to get whatever it is that she wants, that's what she does. And she said, maybe you should learn to do that. And she was like, well, that whole scam with Dixie, well, where is she? And she was basically like, I haven't heard from Dixie since she drove away in my house. So it was living in that her yellow Hummer. And good riddance. It's time for me to look out for numero uno. It's time for me to look out for myself. And so she's like, well, I'm going to leave this. Patty was basically like, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to call the police. So Regina was like, okay, I'm gonna leave my business plan. Just tell Coralee I stopped by, and I just want you to tell her about my business plan. She's like, oh, whatever. And so she walks out. I'm like, Lord, I can't stand that woman. I just, God. Okay, so Patty has come up with this bright idea that if she feels like she doesn't stand a chance with Roxy in the picture. So she comes up with this bright idea to kidnap Roxy. So her idea was she's going to steal the Wiener Taco mobile along with the Wiener Taco costume. She's going to kidnap Roxy, drive her to the middle of nowhere, and then after the pageant is over, she would go back to let her out. Okay, girl. So Coralee is sitting in an office with Bob's father, who's an attorney, right? She's talking about her business idea. So while she's sitting there, she gets a text from Regina asking if she had a chance to look at her business plan. Coralee sends her a text, no. She said, yes, it's not for me, or something like that. So you look over, and Bob's father is actually looking through the business plan. It's like, oh, this is a pretty solid plan, and I want to help you make a name for yourself. And basically, he's only in it to stick it to Bob Armstrong, because he's his son, because he feels like his son has embarrassed him and the entire family and whatever. So he's going to try to use this to get back at Bob. So oh, my head is killing me. Patty stole the daggone wiener that she's in the costume in the truck, waiting for Lord Roxy to come out of the gym. Okay, so we flash to back at the law firm. So Bob goes to the office, and he sees Coralee, and he's like, what's going on? He said, Coralee said, I received a message to meet you here. Something's going on. He was like, I didn't send you a text. Barnard was like, I just think that he came in and basically he set this whole thing for everybody to meet and sit down and try to hash out what's what. And she was basically, because he was pissed that when he found out that she had hired his father to represent her in the divorce. And she was like, I'm going to be left with nothing. And basically it's not fair. You're going to get what you want, but your name is on the house, your name is on the bank accounts. I can't even do something without having you present. Go to the bank or something without having you present. And he was like, you know what? You could just have the house. You can have it all. She's like, what? He's like, you can just have it all. Look at my sir. And he was like, she was like, I want my husband. Having everything doesn't mean anything if I don't have you. And he's like, she was like, I miss my husband. And he was like, I miss my wife. And so Barnard was like, I don't think I should be here. And he turned and he said, well, I love you too. And so Barnard started crying, and she was like, this is bullshit. Gorham was like, this is bullshit. He was like, well, can't you understand that I can feel the same way about two people? And so the next thing you know, Barnard and Bob Armstrong, they kiss, and I'm thinking, oh Lord, her head is about to explode, she's about to flip her wig, and then she's looking like, and then they stopped. He was like, he was like, are you okay? She said, yeah. She said, I thought I'd be jealous. And Bob Armstrong was like, you're not? She was like, I am, but not for the reasons that you think. And he's like, what? And so she walks over, and her and Bob Barnard kiss. And so she says, I've been wanting to do that for years. And he was like, me too. So they start kissing, and Bob Armstrong is like, maybe, I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. So they have them a whole little situation in the office there. So go back to Patty. Patty's still sitting out in this damn truck waiting for a van for Roxy to come out. So then you flash to Regina. She knows now that Patty's staying over at the Armstrongs. So she done broke into their house, and she sends a text to Dixie, was like, come home, I have a place for us to live. So they gonna set up shop in Patty's house while she's over at the Armstrongs. And so she while Patty's sitting in the van, she gets a call from Brick, like, where are you? The Drewberry board, the line is long and we can't save seats. And then you hear a voice say, where is she? Or something. And she's like, who's that? And so they hand the phone. He has the phone to Nonnie. So Nonnie shows up, and she was like, I'm sorry for what I said. I was still angry. She was like, I thought you were over Drew Barrymore. She was like, I lied. So where are you? To get you behind here. She was like, oh, okay. I completely forgot. Save me a seat. So she sees Roxy coming out of the gym. So she's like, save me a seat. And she hung up. So she walks over in this daggone costume with this huge mustache with this taser, and she zaps the shit out of Roxy. Roxy goes down, and then next thing you know, you hear a gunfire, and Patty is in this damn costume. She gets hit with the tranquilizer, and then she goes down, and that's how it goes off. Okay, so most likely it was probably Christian that zapped her. I have a feeling that's going to be Christian, because who else could it be? I don't know. I don't know. Regina did say that Dixie had left town or whatever, but that, we don't know about all that. But I don't know who else it could be. Stella Rose. I don't know. See, I'm still, just thinking about this whole thing with Roxy and Stella Rose and them, and this is something fishy here. Something's not coming together. But that's how it ended. I'm going to leave this here, and I'll talk to you guys in the next episode.